A very good morning to you, of course. This is the #1 breakfast show. This is K24 this morning. Time for us to get right into our newspaper review. So we'll look at the front pages of the dailies, and then I'll get to my panel to discuss what seems to be the big story today. I'll start off with the front page of the People Daily. Down and out, how Kiambu Governor Waititu lost impeachment battle in the Senate. Lack of evidence and witness to support his case. So senators agree on a majority vote on all the 3 counts presented by MCAs to send him home. That's the story that you can get on the front page of the PD. Also on the front page of the PD, how they voted in terms of the impeachment. Those who are for versus those who are against. The details of that can be found in your copy of your People Daily this morning. Front page of the Daily Nation, why do Kenyans vote for clowns? The Daily Nation asks. Supported by power barons because of their crowd-pleasing theatrics, social misfits such as Waititu, Sonko and Babu Owino have taken society hostage. That's what the Daily Nation is leading with this morning. Also, on the front page of your Daily Nation, coronavirus test to take longer. Status of student who arrived from China with symptoms of the deadly virus will take a while to determine. That's a story that you can get in your copy of the Daily Nation. It's on page 7 as well. Also on the political front, Uhuru to cut Ruto feet in Parliament. Major shake-up expected in House leadership to give President control. You can get that particular story in the Daily Nation. We'll be touching on that as well. Front page of the Standard, Ruto's ally kicked out. Pro-handshake senators gang up to uphold impeachment of Ferdinand Waititu as Kiambu governor, paving way for his deputy James Nyoro to assume office. They go on to talk about the charges that were presented against Waititu. Gross violation of the Constitution, crimes under national law, abuse of office and gross misconduct. The charges presented against him right there. Also on the front page, Tanga says no to PM and regional governments. Leaders allied to Deputy President now declare they will reject any plans by ODM Chief Raila Odinga's backers to create more political posts and a third tier of government. You can find that story in your copy of your Standard this morning. Also on the business front, Economic Times on page 5 of your Standard, top Kibaki-era firms now fall on hard times. Business empires built by former President Mwai Kibaki's allies struggling to remain afloat after change in regime introduced new policies. You can get that particular story, of course, in your copy of your Standard this morning. On the front page of the Star, Uhuru's hand in Waititu's day of pain. Senators make unanimous decision to remove Babayao. Senators cite abuse of office, corruption and land grabbing as the issues that were brought to the fore and that they used to send the governor packing. Also on the front page of the Star, each Kenyan to pay 9,600 shillings on foreign and domestic debts. Bringing into focus the debt burden that is currently in play, and you can get that in your copy of your Star this morning therein. Front page of the Business Daily, survey reveals the most expensive bank accounts. While some lenders have a flat monthly charge, others deduct fees per service. So you can read that and find out where your bank falls as far as these particular charges are concerned. You can get that story in your copy of your Business Daily this morning. So as we can see, there's that one big story, and of course we'll also be touching on the economy as well. Let me get to my panel, introduce them as we jump into this right here. Gabriel Muthuma, governance expert. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. How
Welcome to the show. Very well.
Good.
How are you?
Are you still one of the people introducing people? I don't know who.
We did that a long time ago. Like I said, it's a natural progression.
I don't think it's a natural progression, but you need to talk to your parents or whoever you're introducing them to.
Before
like
that
I was
happens.
telling Ali, oh yeah, you need to be very careful.
Right.
Yeah, you know, you may take them to your dad and your dad like, hey Jeff, ulileta mwingine juzi. Huyu ni nani? So be careful. Be careful. Introductions are good. Introductions are good, but be very careful. Other than that, it's a good morning.
Okay, I think we'll have you on the third hour of the show to talk about that as well. I think you have something to
I did my introductions a long time ago. Yes.
Jyoti Tsai, active citizen. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Do you have anything to add as far as introductions are concerned?
Hey, mine happened a long time ago. But they're always dicey, very tricky, very tricky. Yeah, I know. I mean, for us, in fact, don't the men come first? Or at some point they come first and they introduce themselves. And I remember in my family, when some young men, it wasn't for me, many years ago, came to introduce themselves, they were asked, who are you? What's your clan? And they did not know. Where do you come from? What is? And it was an ethnic marriage.
Right.
So it was fascinating to watch that even some of the social intercourse that happens in these types of introductions, people have forgotten about them.
Okay.
But you know, fortunately, you know, it came to pass, and it was
all was well.
All was well.
Okay.
All was well. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff like that. That discussion will be happening later on in the show, so you can stick around for that. Right now, we jump into the big stories of the day as far as the news is concerned. Front page of the PD has it, down and out, how Kiambu Governor Waititu lost impeachment battle in the Senate. There's a quote from Waititu when he was at the floor of the Senate: "Don't judge me from what happened or what is prevailing now. You might be very surprised with what will happen tomorrow and the day after." Even as he said this, Gabriel, lack of evidence, no witness to support what he was saying. How did he really expect this to go in the Senate?
Don't judge me because of what happened. Really? Don't judge me because of what happened. First of all, I mean, you can see what the charges were. You know, a gross violation of the Constitution, crimes under the national law, abuse of office, and gross misconduct. Jeff, I think first of all, before we even talk about Waititu, there's something that is already heading down south, which I don't think is good. Starting to compare how people voted and what, you know, grouping they belonged to or what political affiliation they belonged to. I think at this point it is wrong. What I saw yesterday, it was not a win for anybody, but what won was the Constitution and the rule of law. Those are the things that won. Has Kiambu County has it been going well? I don't think so. People have been complaining a lot. There has been infighting. As a matter of fact, the people who started the impeachment process were not from without Kiambu. They were the MCAs in Kiambu who brought this motion to the Senate. So the issue of, you know, the way they voted, I think we are going to lose it if we go that way. What must remain to be factual and what must remain to have won the day or carried the day for that matter, I think it's the rule of law, the rule of constitution. And you know what? It came out, the bipartisan approach on how they ended up with impeaching Waititu. I liked it because it now shows it's no longer business as usual. We can be friends, but where the rule of law and the Constitution comes to play, then our friendship may actually take a beating. Not because I hate you as a person, no, but because I want to ensure that law is preserved in the Senate. And I think for all intents and purposes, I think the Senate for once, I think they showed they can actually do the work that they've been elected to do. So to me, this was a good sign. Apart from the politics of the day, which I don't think should be really brought to the limelight, I think let us focus on how the counties are being misused, and these governors have always thought that they can run away with it. I am expecting to start seeing things happening even within Nairobi County. Things have not been as rosy as we wanted them to be. And it's not about having rosy. We just wanted an accountable system. We wanted a governor who has an idea of how to run the county. And the nation actually talks about it. How do we end up with these people, which I think we'll discuss in a short time. But to me, Jeff, it was a good thing. It happened. Now we can see if Senate actually wants to move things and motions, actually they can do it.
Right. Jero, I'll come to you because even as Gabriel says that we should detach the politics of the day from what happened in the Senate, when you look at the front page of the Standard, he's referred to as Ruto's ally. You look at the front page of the Star, Uhuru's hand in Waititu's day of pain. Is it the media playing to this, or is this a political process that you cannot divorce the two with what's happening currently?
Thanks, Jeff. That's actually a note I immediately scribbled when I read the headlines. I said, you know, Kieleweke and ODM, Kieleweke and ODM have one additional ally, and that is the media. The Fourth Estate is spinning exactly the way Kieleweke and ODM would like to have it, and I find it quite interesting. So it's all extremely skewed in one direction. That said, I am so happy that Waititu has been impeached. It is constitutionalism in action. It is the rule of law. And the egregious actions, I mean, the only thing I would add is that if we were to actually be as clear as we have been with Waititu, do you know how many other governors How many other legislators would be up for some form of censure, either recall or impeachment, and so on and so forth? So I think it is a good step in the right direction until I look at how people voted. So I'll differ slightly with my brother Gabriel, because if really we were to dissociate ourselves from the way people voted, or if you were to later on look as a by the way who voted where, I would have been happy to see, for example, Murkomen voting for the impeachment of Waititu, or I'd have been happy to see Gideon Moy support, be against the impeachment of Waititu. But the fact that you have a clean ODM, Kieleweke, Jubilee voting for impeachment versus a clean and clear Tanga voting against shows that however much we want to say the Constitution is being protected and respected, it is weaponized. The war on corruption has been weaponized. The Constitution and any other instrument available to a Kenya will be weaponized in this political battle for succession and supremacy. And that, for me, is what I see here. So yes, we could stay away from that, but look, it is so clear. Right. And now then the pundits will begin to analyze. Does this mean that Ruto's team is down and out? Look at the numbers versus those for impeachment. The tables could turn tomorrow. You could see a new alliance forming. You could, you know, so ultimately, although I'm happy for the people of Kiambu, because I've listened to some of them say, really, it has been a terrible couple of years so far under Waititu. So I'm happy for that ordinary mwananchi who might experience a slightly better a space for development and so on with Waititu gone now, and whether, you know, Dr. Nyoro is sworn in or not, you know, that you know, we'll see how all that plays out. So you have inadvertent winners, but ultimately for me, the losers are the people of the Republic of Kenya who are not part of the political class, because this is politics playing out. Tomorrow, if an ODM governor is being impeached, what do you think is going to happen? If Sonko comes up for impeachment, what is going to happen? It will depend on whether he's Tanga or Kieleweke. So that's how we're going to play it out. So yes, we have potential winners, and we experience the benefits as a byproduct, but it's not about us. It's not about the rule of law. It's not about constitutionalism. It's about politics of succession. Let's
talk about the precedents that have probably been set right here. First of all, from the impeachment of the governor. Does this mean other governors should prepare to have their heads in the chopping block? Because before, it seemed like a non-issue going to the Senate.
Of course, and people have been talking about Wambora. You may recall, you know,
the governor with 9 lives.
The governor with 9 lives. And I think, you know, to me, he appears to be one of the most harassed, you know, governors. And at some point, when these motions would come, and, you know, Jubilee at that time had them, you know, they've had majority throughout. I mean, these motions would be turned down. We saw what happened to Governor Obado, where, you know, Kidero, when he was, you know, a governor. We've seen actually, and, you know, say he's right to an extent, we've seen an element of factionalism that comes into the Senate. And that's what I would really like for us to divorce. Because when you're talking about me being in a certain faction and then getting cushioned politically, that I cannot be touched, then I think, say, he's right when she says the Constitution then will end up losing. But I would like to see people who stand on the platform of truth to say that, you know what, the law here has been broken. It does not matter where Waititu belongs, whether he's Tanga, Kieleweke, or I don't know who. I am going to follow the law. I am going to protect the Constitution, and I am going to preserve, you know, that which I saw to preserve, and that's the Constitution. If we are going through that, then we can see an approach where the bipartisan will actually come in and work. Remember, Jubilee actually joined other people. This is the same party, I mean, with Waititu. So what am I saying? I expect, if somebody like Sonko comes in, I expect a bipartisan approach to realize the facts, what has been tabled, and, you know, what the DCA will be able to bring, whether he's broken the law, whether there's abuse of office and what have you. I need to see a bipartisan approach. I don't want to be in a position whereby you already know what is going to happen. You already know where the Senate is going to vote. You know,
it's hard for us to say we'll have a bipartisan approach in some of these cases.
But no,
for example, like Governor Sonko's case, the majority leader of the Senate is one of his lawyers. How do we go back to the Senate?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
A bipartisan approach?
You have Mutula Kilonzo Jr. and Kipchumba Murkomen representing Sonko. And they are sitting on either side of the divide. So what's going to happen when Sonko comes up for impeachment?
By the way, and that will be very interesting,
yes,
mainly for somebody like Mutula Kilonzo. It will be very interesting because people have argued that say, hey, are you running there because you are a friend of Sonko or you come from the same locale?
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot that is going to play. But at the end of the day, I don't want his one vote to construe the justice that Sonko probably may have, gone against. I don't want that to be that, yes, you can stand with him as a friend, and I agree, he can be your friend, but where the rule of law comes to play, you have to choose and choose wisely, because you must ask yourself, who am I protecting? Do I protect my friend or do I protect the Constitution?
Right. I'll come to you, Jero, with the second precedent I'm saying probably might be set here because rarely do we see the actual votes and how they were carried out on the floor on issues that affect the country. When the VAT bill came into play, we did not see that. Raising of the debt ceiling, we didn't know, did my MP vote for or against? Are we now getting to a point where in future, not only on matters of such a political debate, but something affecting the national country, if you voted for or against raising of the debt ceiling, we're going to have the papers now covering this and saying these are the people who voted for raising, these are the ones who voted against it.
It's interesting because if they had said X number of votes for impeachment, just given the numbers versus those against on all three counts, that would, for me, have been more than norm. So it gave me pause for thought last night when I saw the names begin to come out and circulate fast on social media. This is also a political tactic, in my opinion, to show it's a show of might. It's a preliminary and, in my opinion, a premature show of might to show who is actually sitting in this bipartisan space, which is not really bipartisan. It is bipartisan, but not for the reasons that we would like to see bipartisan action take place. So I find it very telling as well, and part of a Kieleweke show of force narrative. And that said, I do wonder, and I mean, of all the people who appear on your show, you know for sure I'm not a Tanga supporter. I'm not a supporter of that camp, but you also know for sure I'm not a supporter of Kieleweke. So I'm and ODM or any of the political class that are looking at issues of succession, not issues of development in this country. But the way they are playing it out, Waititu will emerge as the underdog. Tanga is emerging as the underdog. And this underdog is a very powerful underdog because this underdog is talking about Wanjiko's pocket, talking about bread and butter issues. When you hear Deputy President Ruto speak, he's not busy showing that he wants him and his friends to stay in power forever, which is exactly what he wants, so that they can amass wealth and power forever and ever, amen. That's not what he's doing. He's showing that he's concerned about the ordinary Mwananchi's plight. He's talking about farmers, he's talking about workers, he's talking about no extension of the term of governor or unlimited terms for a governor. He's talking about issues of, if it was the governor, he was also talking about the prime minister. We don't want this prime minister position. We don't want a swollen and fat legislature or executive. So he's speaking to what people are suffering from. And if you compare it to that 9,600 shillings that every Kenyan is supposed to pay, he's speaking to that. Because I'm saying, wait, of all the things I have to pay, I also, just like that, have to fork out 9,600 shillings to deal with the excesses of a highly mismanaged executive and legislature. So I think that as they keep putting out these numbers and creating camps and sides, they're actually giving room and wind and headwind for Tanga.
For the underdog.
Yeah, for the underdog. Okay. So I'm wondering who is advising this coalition of Kieleweke and ODM, who is advising them? Whoever that person is must be fired because they're not doing the right thing. They're not helping them. They're not strengthening their case. So this crowing and being excited about Waititu gone, this is short-lived. In fact, let me just tell them for free that amongst or in that group of people who voted for impeachment, you are sure that there are some double dealers there. And you're sure that there are people there who will be hedging their bets and saying at some point, I might jump into the Tanga camp. So nothing. A day is a long time in politics, and nothing is written in stone. So this short-lived victory just shows the myopia of this current political battle for succession.
Gabriel, I'll come to you on that same question.
Right.
Are we seeing a moment where now members of parliament and senators as well will feel that they need to be accountable for the decisions they make in the House? Because now we shall know what you did there. You won't come and spin a long story for your people. It's clear. You voted for it or you voted against it.
Jeff, and you know, for the long time, that's how the American Senate has worked. Whether it's in Congress or whether it's in the Senate, when you vote, it becomes your history of how you voted. Somebody can pull it 10 years later and tell you, hey, guess what? Madam Say, this is how you voted. You voted for this war. So what are you telling us? So it is actually a very good thing. And the Hansard actually carries these things. Right. You know, it carries this record. So anytime you want to pull it, it should just be made public so that we know Jeff voted 20 years ago. This is what he believed. Why does he not believe about what he voted back then? What has changed today? And you know what? Let me tell you something. There's something that Madam Say has said, which I totally agree with. At the end of the day, the person who will win anything to do with the succession, whether it's a succession political, the person who seems or who will win is the man who will speak to the heart of Wanjiku, a man or woman who will speak to the heart of Wanjiku. You're talking about the nearly 10,000 shillings that every Kenyan must cough to pay our international debt. What does that tell you? It tells you that me and you, and even the leaders of this country, they don't want my money or our money, you know, wasted by the national government or by the county government. So what does that mean? It means we must set up an infrastructure. It means we must set up systems, all right, that will ensure that this money is not lost. I mean, when somebody who is not employed is going to be looking from his kibarua to be looking to get $100 to be able to contribute towards this debt, you owe them something. And what is that something? You owe them accountability. You know, this is their hard-earned money. And half of these kids are actually, many of these people who are going to pay this debt, probably they are not in formal employment. So you owe them something. As the leaders of this country, we owe these people a responsibility. And that's to ensure that the money that we have as a country, when it comes in, it is utilized properly. It is put into proper use. The energy that we put to focus on development, we must churn an idea that if this road has been fixed, we must ensure that we trade on that road so that we are able to pay. We must also ensure that even in our circles of trade, we have to belong to a place where we are earning to ensure we get a good development agenda, whether it's towards, you know, Vision 2030 or Vision whatever it will be, you know, and also to ensure that if we are called upon to pay such kinds of money, we already know how our future looks like.
Okay, we're going to take a short break at that particular point in time. Keep your tweets coming in at K24 TV, sampling some of them right now. Nato David here says, good morning, tuning in from Meru, loving the discussion going on right there. Emmanuel says, Siaya niko ndani tuongeza sa maneno ya development. Okay, we hear you, Emmanuel, on that. David Omwami as well, locked on to the show, loving the show. We have Chris Kipsinai who's saying, tell them Jero, speak the truth. Hashtag K24 this morning right there. Angel Sherry saying, we saw what happened yesterday kwa Senate, lakini baba yao is a victim, nothing more, nothing else. Utajionea. Okay, fine. We'll be talking about that after the break. Keep your SMSs coming in on 21222. The WhatsApp number is scrolling on the bottom of your screen, so you can send us your WhatsApp message as well. We'll be looking at that after the break. We're also joined after the break by Honorable Jacoyo Midio as we talk about this. Angel Sherry, Governor Waititu, a victim. Right now, we shall see that. We discuss that, of course, and plenty more after the break.